Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, it looks like the Boxing Board of Control are going to investigate the Jack Catteral v Josh Taylor fight. I think it's right. I think rightfully so. I do think it was a very, very poor, bad decision. I thought it was a robbery. I do. I know some people said that they thought the fight. I haven't heard many people that said they think Taylor won that. I don't think I've heard anyone. Even Scottish fans have come out and said that they feel that Jack Catteral won that fight. That's probably one of the worst decisions I've seen since I've been watching boxing. It was an absolute shambles. Like I said, I was watching that fight with my dad, and we, at the end of the fight, unanimously agreed. I even said to my dad that don't be surprised, I won't be shocked if it goes the other way, just because of the fact that, you know, it's a hometown. It's the guy's fighting his hometown. He's the politically connected fighter. And my dad said, no, it's so obvious. There's no way the judges can give it him. And then when we heard the first scorecard, 113, 112 to Catteral, we were shocked because we thought the fight was so wide. How can it be that score? And then when we heard 114, 111 Taylor, that's when we were like, okay, there's something fishy going on. And when the other guy gave it to Taylor and, you know, Taylor won the fight, it was just like, we couldn't believe it. We were up in shock. My dad was like, no, those judges, that's not possible. There's no way they can see the fight that way. And we were just in shock. And then I thought it was maybe me, but when I went online and saw the reaction online, it was even worse. And, you know, that was absurd. Like I said, that was absurd. How you can score that in favor of Josh Taylor, I would never know. I would never know. That was a robbery. That was a disgrace of a decision. And to be honest with you, I don't know what can be done. I don't know, because I feel like you're going to be setting a very dangerous precedent if they overrule it or call it a no contest, or maybe, you know, rescore the fight. I don't know how they'll do it, because then you're setting a precedent, and then that's whenever there's a bad decision, people are going to expect you to do the same. And unfortunately, I don't think that's something that the British Boxing Board want to go down, because it sets a very bad precedent moving forward, because then you're basically saying that you can overrule the judge's decision. So I don't know whether they'd go ahead by doing that. I don't know whether they'd overchange it. I think at most they can force an immediate rematch, but the problem is with that is that Josh Taylor's already said he's moving up. So how does Jack Catteral get anything out of this? I don't know. How is he going to get any satisfaction? Because if it's not a win, which he deserved, then how is he going to get any kind of satisfaction out of this? How's he going to get any kind of I haven't seen any sporting event where I feel that there's been so much injustice. Like, this was ridiculous. It was embarrassing. It's like you feel for Jack Catteral. He spent his whole life training so hard for this opportunity, stepped aside to let Josh Taylor become undisputed, got his opportunity, went to the guy's backyard, beat him, schooled him, and then ended up getting robbed like that. What can you say? What can you say? You can't say anything apart from feel sorry for Jack Catteral, because he was robbed, as far as I'm concerned. I haven't felt that sense of injustice in a sporting event. That was injustice at the highest level. Like, I don't understand how those judges saw the fight the way they did. I just can't. And I don't know how Catteral must be feeling. He must be devastated. He must be devastated, because what you got to realize is you robbed him of his glory moment. You robbed him of that opportunity to lift all the belts in the ring. And even if, for example, this was to get overturned, it's not the same. You robbed him of his glory moment inside that ring. That can never be relived. So yeah, you could win all the belts, but it has the kind of the feeling when you say, and the new, you know, that feeling, that moment of glory inside the ring, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. Nobody wants to win the belts through controversy. Nobody wants to win the belts like, oh, you know, you get a wrong decision and it gets overturned. That's not right, is it? That's nonsense. You know, that to me is that's not how anyone wants to win a belt, is it? Nobody wants to win a belt by getting it overturned and appealing. That's just, even though he was the rightful winner and he deserves the belt should be with him today. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And as Nigel Travis, the trainer of Jack Catteral, said, I feel embarrassed. I feel embarrassed for the judges. Like, It was a ridiculous decision. You're speechless. I was left speechless after that fight for days. Like even today, I can't believe what happened. I can't believe I've never seen a boxing fight where I'm that outraged. You know, that was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. He totally dominated that first 6 rounds, battered him, put him down in the 8th round. I don't understand. I don't understand how they saw it the way they did. I just don't understand. I don't think there's anyone out there that had Josh Taylor winning that fight, apart from those 2 judges. It was an absolute bizarre fight. It was almost a disgrace. I'm going to say it was a disgrace. You know, there's no way Josh Taylor won that fight. And to be honest, look, people are having a go at Josh Taylor, probably because of the fact that Josh Taylor's coming out and saying that he won the fight, but he never went back and rewatched it. He's just going off, you know, after having a tough fight. He's, you know, no fighter's going to say they lost. So he's just saying, oh yeah, I won the fight. And people are getting onto him and saying, listen, you didn't win the fight. And people are getting angry because they're already so angered. But what I will say is that it's not his fault. He didn't score the fight. He just went in there and fought and did the best he could do. Yeah, I feel sorry for Catteral. I do. I feel like Catteral has been robbed. He's been robbed, and you can't. But what can you say for Jack Catteral? It's so sad. It's so sad. A guy spent his whole life, probably the dedication that he's put into the training camp, and then to be robbed like that. It's sad. Really sad. But it's good that this is going to be investigated. But I just don't know what can be done to correct that decision. What can be done? At most, they'll say an immediate rematch. But if Taylor's moving up, how are they gonna make him rematch? I just don't know. I don't know. And I don't think they're going to be able to overturn the decision. They're not going to, because it'll set a very bad precedent. I mean, you can't overturn every bad decision, can you? This was really bad, but, you know, there's going to be bad decisions in the future. And what are you going to do? Overturn every single one, you know? So I feel like you'll be, for me, if you do it for this one, then in the future, whenever it happens, you'll have to do it again. And I just feel like you're setting a very bad precedent by doing that. So I don't see anything coming off of it in terms of them overturning the decision. I just don't think they can. You know, I think when the judges make the decision, that's final. But at most, they can probably force an immediate rematch. But again, if he's moving up, he's probably going to vacate those belts anyway. So what can be done? You know, I think at most, if they overturn the decision, then that means at least Josh Taylor might feel obliged. See, this is the problem. If the judges had given the right decision, given Catteral the win, then Josh Taylor could have said, you know what, I can't make this weight anymore, I'm going to move up to welterweight. Or Josh Taylor could have decided to rematch Jack Catteral. By giving the wrong decision, Josh Taylor's credibility is on the floor, and Jack Catteral is left in a no man's land. Because his next fight should have been for millions, being the undisputed champion, because if he was the rightful winner, which he deserved to win, his next fight would have been for multi-millions, either against Taylor or somebody else. But now he's left with nothing. His next fight's not going to be for millions. He's not got that tag of being undisputed, so in the history books, it'll never be there that he was undisputed champion. So he's been robbed on all fronts, financially, from a reputation point of view, from a titles point of view, historic moment. He was robbed of his historic moment, and that is something that is probably more than money, it's more than fame. That moment of you being wrote in the history books forever as being an undisputed. He would have been the second British fighter to hold the 4 belts. That moment's been taken away from him. You know, only he knows how he's feeling. But, you know, some fighters aren't able to come back from that. You know, some fighters might just be finished after that. They may think, forget this. You know, I don't think he will, because obviously he's, in a way, even though what's happened to him is so wrong, he's benefited from a profile point of view. So his next fight will be highly anticipated. But nevertheless, I feel like you robbed him of his glory moment, which is wrong. There's no way anyone can make a case that Taylor won that fight. I'm sorry. You could be the biggest Taylor fan who I don't care. There's no way you can make a case Taylor won that fight. It's just not. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. And I feel like something needs to be done. Something needs to be done because these decisions are just terrible. They ruin people's lives. They ruin people's careers. Something needs to be done. Something needs to be done, and maybe the British Boxing Control will do something which take a very firm stance here. Maybe they might even overturn the decision. I don't know if they can, and I don't know what kind of precedent they'll be setting for the future. But maybe they will. Maybe they will. Maybe they will overturn that decision. Who knows what they'll do? But I don't see it, just because I think they'll be going against their judges. They'll be setting a very dangerous precedent for the future, because once you overturn it once, right, then next time there's a bad decision, people are going to expect the same. So I can't see them overturning the decision. I just can't. But who knows with how much outrage, there's public outrage there's been, right? Because there's a lot of public pressure on here, right? God knows what they're going to do. God knows what they're going to do. Are they going to rescore the fight again? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but there's been an outcry. And the reason why I think the British Boxing Board of Control are going to investigate this is because of the outcry and the public pressure that's been put on, because it's been a shambles. You know, this was something that I think was spoken in the House of Commons. That's how people are outraged by this decision. It was terrible. It was a downright robbery. It was such a bad decision. Such a bad decision. You know, and Danny Murphy was right on TalkSport, where I don't think I felt so much injustice from a sporting event. That was injustice of the highest order. And some people are saying we're not going to watch boxing again. Some casuals have been turned off. That boxing's fixed. That's what people are saying. Some people are saying boxing's fixed. The winner's determined already. Embarrassing. Shambles. An absolute shambles. It was disgrace. So yeah, something needs to be done. A firm stance needs to be taken place. I don't know what's going to be done, but leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.